What is going on, everybody? How's it going? A little Monday night doubleheader. Lot to talk about. But before we do, I want to tell you about my friends at AG1 by Athletic Greens. And I started taking AG1 a while back. They send me a bunch. And I don't know about you, but my mom loves taking vitamins, a ton of vitamins in the morning. But for me, it's a little too much. I can't take a bunch of pills. So AG1 is just a morning ritual that I have basically every day. It has 75 high quality vitamins, mineral, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and you make it with water. You mix it and you drink it. It's very simple, very easy to use. A sustainable routines are key. AG1 is my daily micro habit that makes it easy to absorb key nutrients, lead a healthy lifestyle, and feel my best. Look at me. Feel fantastic. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's not one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. It's all it is. One scoop of cup of water a day. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamins D and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/3and out. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/3and out to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Let's dive into football. Okay, I think it's pretty clear where we need to start. The story of the night. We'll dive into, listen, I'm not trying to be a complainer, but the Monday night doubleheaders, when they're an hour apart, is a little hard to consume. Now, luckily, kind of blowouts, but let's dive into the Eagles and the team that Howie Roseman built, which is pretty impressive. But it starts with the quarterback. And Jalen Hurts, he's good. Like, it's not really debatable. If that's what Jalen Hurts is going to look like, and I watched him last week against the Lions, and I watched him tonight, you go, that's a really good quarterback. And listen, I'm going to take the L on this one because when Jalen Hurts came out of college, I went, he's a running back. I didn't think he could throw. And even last year, the Eagles didn't think he could throw. They changed their offense to be like Oklahoma, and he ran around. They had a run-based offense because here's one thing Jalen Hurts is elite at. His instincts as a runner are top-notch. Like Kyler and Lamar are two of the better runners we've ever seen, but they are some of the fastest players we've ever seen. They're two of the better athletes in like NFL history in terms of explosive speed. Jalen is fast, but by no means is he that fast, is he as quick as those guys. But his innate feel in space, running around, he's powerful, is incredible. And it's been awesome since he played at Alabama and Oklahoma. But to me, the only way you can sustain and be a good quarterback in the NFL, I think we all agree, is throwing the football. And he has become, listen, one thing the Eagles are good at, and we'll dive into Howie here in a second, is when they make a mistake, and listen, they obviously know they made a mistake with Jalen Reagor. If they could do it over, they would have taken Justin Jefferson. That's not how the world works. They don't double down. They don't hold on for long. They got rid of Jalen Reagor fast. And what did they do? They traded for A.J. Brown. And then the year after Reagor, they draft Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy. All of a sudden, they got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's tight with Jalen. Jalen, here's the thing you can never underestimate with players in the NFL. How much they truly give a shit about getting better. And I know a bunch of people with that in that building, and they said during OTAs and definitely during training camp, they're like, John, this guy is improving. He keeps getting better. Why? He loves football. And even I went, I don't know. I'm still going to be hesitant. Well, they weren't lying because the guy I see right now is playing at a very, very high level. And if he is going to be that dominant of a runner, and he is a dominant runner, and throw the ball that efficiently, and it's not that hard when you got A.J. Brown, who's a man-child, Devontae Smith, who's a stud, Goddard, who's a baller as a tight end, and they got a sweet offensive line. And Miles Sanders can run the football, and they got multiple other running backs. It's like their offense is just fully loaded. And if this guy's going to play at that level, like the Eagles are a legitimate NFC contender. I picked him to win the division, but I did it because I didn't like the Cowboys. I thought the Giants were not good. They're actually better than I thought. And the Commanders, like, I'm sorry, I'm not betting on them. I literally did last weekend, and I got burned because they lost to the Lions. And I think it's clear the Eagles are really talented. Hell, they were talented last year when they won 9 games, but they didn't have much of a passing game. And now if they're going to have a passing game and their defense is clearly better, like that is a 12, 13-win team. Now, Jalen's going to have moments. He's not going to have a perfect season. He'll throw some picks and they'll lose some games. But that is a team that has star power everywhere. And it starts with the quarterback. And listen, they made a pretty crazy move a couple years ago when they drafted him in the second round. I know I was not alone. I thought it was insane. Obviously, a lot of people in Philly thought it was nuts. It's the best thing they ever did because Carson Wentz flames out. They have to trade Carson Wentz. Then they go to Jalen, and the rest is history. Now they got a starting quarterback on a second-round contract who's balling and who can run the ball, who is beloved in the locker room. They got a pretty good thing going. And speaking of good thing going, like Howie has been a pretty polarizing general manager over his career. I was with him at the early part, was part of a playoff team. Now, he was transitioning. Andy was still in control. Then when Andy leaves, everything that happened with Chip. But then post-Chip, like, built a Super Bowl team with a backup quarterback. Pretty impressive. And when they hired Doug Peterson, don't forget, like, not a lot of people were going to hire Doug Peterson. And then when that thing kind of flames out, and listen, I think it was just meant to break up. Doug's going to have success in Jacksonville. He hires Nick Sirianni, which I'll be honest, I don't follow like the Colts and Charger coaching staffs that closely. I didn't know who he was. And he's having some success because right now, through 19 games, he's got 11 wins, not counting the playoff game, which you lost. So you could do 20. So in 20 games, he's got 11 wins if you even count the playoff game. Like, he's having success. And then you factor in the team, they're always able to make moves and pivot off stuff. He's like Belichick that way. He will not go down with the ship with the guy that he misses on with the draft, i.e. Jalen Reagor, who's on the Vikings. Boom, he'll make a deal, wheel and deal, get A.J. Brown. And a couple years ago, he drafts Dillard, the tackle from Washington State. You know, he's a good player, but ideal left tackle, not really working out. They developed this dude from Australia who was a rugby player who's now one of the better left tackles in the league. Defensively, they're always wheeling and dealing, always making moves. This year, right before the season started, trade for a corner. A couple years ago, Darius Slay hates Patricia. Of course he does. Most players do. He trades for him. He's just always doing stuff. And it's not really disputable that if you don't need to be, some football genius to watch his team go. They got a lot of talent all over the field. And most people struggle to pivot off a quarterback. He did it pretty seamlessly. Like Howie Roseman deserves a lot of credit. Done a pretty good job. Eagles look really good. I think it's fair to say through 2 games, they feel for real. It feels very sustainable because they're not coming out of nowhere. They won 9 games last year. They added some pieces. They added a big piece in A.J. Brown. They've added some pieces on defense. The coach has a little more experience, and now they look better. I mean, last week, I know it was close to the Lions. Listen, I think the Lions aren't bad. They were up 38-21. It's not like it was close the whole game. Like, they were in complete control. Tonight, they beat the shit out of the Vikings. And I feel pretty confident on this. As long as Kirk Cousins is the quarterback for the Vikings and Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback for the Packers, under no circumstances will I take the Vikings to win the division. I don't see it as possible. Because, listen, do they have good pieces on offense? And as Cousins plays better games than that? Of course he does. But for whatever reason, primetime Cousins, when it comes out, like, it's not really arguable. On the first pick, it's like, well, his offensive line, well, he can't play defense. It's always an excuse. Then you look through, at the end of the game, he's got several picks. And you're like, guys, if you get pressure on him, he crumbles like a cookie. Now, you can argue a lot of quarterbacks do, but look at Thursday night. Herbert, Mahomes, getting peppered. Both of them. Neither of them flinched. They just kept making plays, kept making throws. Cousins, you hit him, the whole thing falls apart because he can't really ad-lib. And I'm not saying he's not necessarily tough because he'll stand in there and make the throws. It just doesn't work. He can't execute when he's getting hit. He's just not as talented as the other guys I mentioned. And he can't run. So if he's got to play off script, like Jalen, for example, the guy on the other side, he can't keep the plays alive with his legs. And listen, as long as they got Kirk Cousins, I can't take them seriously as a playoff threat. Now, it's not all his fault. We've seen him before win on the road in New Orleans in a playoff game. So it's not like he's never done it. But their secondary blows. It's terrible. Last time I checked, it's 2022, not 1986. It's a passing league. So if we're playing a bunch of teams, especially once you get into big games that can throw the ball, that have weapons, because most good teams now have a bunch of wide receivers, how do you slow them down if you can't play pass defense? Their pass rush looked pretty anemic tonight. Now, in fairness, Eagles' offensive line's fantastic, but they can't cover anybody. If you can't cover anybody, you got problems in 2022. I think we'd all universally agree on that. And like the Eagles just kicked their ass. Now, that's a tough place to play. If Philly is going to be this good and be like a legitimate, 12, 13 win team, which I believe right now they are, that place is going to rock 9 times a year. Last year, I think, the NFC gets 9 home games this year. So not eight more times of that. Like the place is going to be going nuts. I lived there for a couple years. I'm a West Coast guy. Philadelphia treats the Eagles like Tuscaloosa treats Roll Tide, like Baton Rouge treats the Tigers, like Athens, Georgia treats the Bulldogs. The Eagles mean everything in that town, and it's a big-time sports city. The Sixers mean a lot. The Phillies mean a lot. Hell, the Flyers mean a lot. But people in that town with the Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly. Every fucking person in town can sing that song, start to finish, by the time they're about 2 years old. They bleed green. It's a really big deal. And now that they think they're good, they're going to have Seattle-type home field vibe. That place is going to be berserk bananas all season long. Makes it for a fun NFL. On the other game, which before I dive into Bills-Titans, like NFL, ESPN, ABC, a little confused why we had a doubleheader. I'm never opposed to more football, but I like a lot of football games on Sunday. Monday night, I want to kick back, be able to watch one game. The Bills are one of the best teams in the league. They might be the best team. And then I got the Eagles game going. It's hard to keep. Listen, I have iPads and stuff, but I don't want to be. It's too much. It's too much. If you're going to go a doubleheader on Monday, which I'm not opposed to, I've been working from home well before the vid. I've been working from home for about 7 years. Could we go 2 and 5? Could you start at East Coast time at 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock on the West Coast? I don't care. But to do the 4:15, 5:30, like, screw that. That's unfair to the consumer. We lose out as a consumer. Advertisers lose out. Not a fan of that. I'm pro more football. I'm pro football on television. I'm not anti-streaming games or anything, unless it's DirecTV. They had some issues yesterday. But what are we doing? I understand ESPN's been a little rudderless for years. They got some issues. But you would think Monday Night Football is kind of their baby. They get Joe and Troy. What was going on tonight? Now, I tried to. It was hard once the Eagle game starts. Luckily, the Bills beat the living crap out of them. I don't know if there's that much to take away from the Bills-Titans game. Josh Allen threw 4 touchdowns. Well, of course, he's arguably the best player in the league. Stephon Diggs had 3 touchdowns. Dominated. Well, he's been one of the best wide receivers, really, even when Minnesota had him, let alone once he got traded to Josh Allen. The Bills are a dominant team. We knew this. Like, I didn't necessarily learn anything different. They are really, really good. To me, it's like them and the Chiefs, right? And can the Chiefs' defense, which is much improved, hang with them? And can the Bills' defense, which I think they've gone all in on this pass rush and pass secondary, can that handle Mahomes, which probably isn't as scary without Tyreek Hill, who's now in Miami? But, like, I can't put Baltimore, you blow a 35-14 lead, like, I can't put you in their class. Miami, I'm sorry. I know Tua had one great game, but I am not putting you in that class. The Chargers, you literally just had the chance to beat the Chiefs, and you can't do it. So I think there is a class alone. Like, let's face it, I would say the Bills look probably a little better than the Chiefs, but until you beat the Chiefs, which last time I checked, the Chiefs have beat them 2 years in a row, like, I'm going to give the Chiefs the slight edge. But if I was a Bills fan, I would be pretty freaking excited. I would be pretty happy and getting ready to see that matchup. I would like my chances, because my chances with Josh Allen, who looks like John Elway meets Dan freaking Marino, Diggs looks like Jerry freaking Rice, and my defense is flying around crushing folks. I understand the Titans aren't that good. And listen, if I'm a Titans fan and we're 0-2 and we were just the number 1 seed, here's what I would say. Your division stinks. So at 0-2, you are right in that thing. Mike Vrabel's a good coach. Even though your team looks a little off, and it might be a little bit of a rebuilding year, but you're not dead by any means. Because could 7-10 win that division? Let's speak honestly. Could 7-10 win the division? Colts suck. The Jags are going to be up and down all season. And the Texans they're not that talented. So why couldn't 7-10 compete to win that division? The Bills, they look like a 16-win team. And I think the betting philosophy on them moving forward, no matter how big the spread is, I might be betting on them because they are housing people through 2 games. I mean, they don't even feel, the difference between college and pro? Like when you get a college team and it's good, USC, Bama, Georgia, whatever, and there's a gap in the talent, and you're like, is this game going to get out of hand? And it does. And then all of a sudden you look up and it's 50-10. It's 60-7. That doesn't really happen in the NFL. Even an ass kicking can be like 20-7. Like the Dolphins kicked the Patriots ass week 1. The final score was 20-7. The 49ers beat the living crap out of the Seahawks. It was 27-7. In college, that game is 60-10. But the Bills are doing what college teams do to other NFL teams. The Rams won the Super Bowl. I know the Titans are missing some pieces, but they were the 1 seed and have a really good coach, and they curb stomped them. So tonight, to me, the story is Jalen Hurts. The story is the Eagles. They look for real. Cousins, like, same old story. We've seen that. We've seen that thing before. But the Bills, I think we all expected them, to be a powerhouse. Might be better than expected. And if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm keeping a close eye on them. We've been to 4 straight AFC championships. We want to get back to that Super Bowl. Bills haven't been to the Super Bowl, obviously, in a long time, since I was a little kid, early 90s. They feel for real. So in ESPN, ABC, can we, stagger these games a little bit differently? Like, I am your consumer. I've literally dedicated my life. That's how I feed my unborn children. And I felt it was a pain in the ass. It's Monday night. It's not Sunday. Sunday, I'm used to it. Flipping around channels, part of the deal. Monday, a little different. So let's figure that thing out moving forward.